Good day. Welcome to this video where I'll go into how to qualify in stage 1. This is important if you want to go for a high rank clear, for which it's the only way if you want to go for a rank 3 or 4 clear. You need to figure out how to score stage 1. The scoring is really arcane. I'll get into it. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully I make it simple enough that you can figure it out, or try and figure it out, because it's not easy. Background about me: as of recording of this video, 20th of November 2021, I'm the only person who has cleared rank 4 EX, beaten the true last boss sphere overseas, and I'm also, to my knowledge, the world record holder in the 2 rule modes for rank 4 rule mode scoring. So I like this game a lot, but commonly it's really confusing to people what on earth this game is about, especially how to score stage 1. So I will go into how to score stage 1, and I'm going to sort of use this as a demonstration on how the scoring system works. If you don't know how type S works, then I recommend you play the game yourself. At least 5 buttons are going to be used depending on what you want to do, and I highly recommend you understand the tools at your disposal before attempting to score stage 1. Well then, let's get into it. Alright, so the first scoring trick on this stage are these 4 fairies. These 4 fairies are important to, I call them fairies, they're crystal fairies. You can call them whatever you want. These enemies, the most important part about these enemies is that they provide an easy way to fill up both your hypers or shifts. Both your ethereal shift and your delayed shift can be fully charged from these enemies. How you want to do it is sort of up to you. You can use a bomb to guarantee both shifts fill up, which is a lot easier. Or you don't fire at all and then try and weave through the bullets and then move to the top. Or you do what I do, which is I have assault off right now, which are the lasers. I proc assault because these 4 enemies have been tagged because I already damaged them. Assault is on, and then I will use a level 3 blade combo. The main crux of the scoring system is enemies targeted by your attacks do not die until the animation is over, and depending on how much you damage them during this animation determines your chain value. Your overkill chain value is this green bar, and it's this green number, which is 89,000 right now. Because I did this, killed these fairies with the blade level 3 combo, I now have ethereal shift is fully charged, or it's charged up, and then delayed shift is also charged up. So right now my focus is on getting enough coins to increase the gem level, which helps with cancels later on. So then at the top of the screen, just use the sword attack, generates a bunch of coins. That's the general gist. So the next part is this yellow crystal. The nice thing on this yellow crystal is that you can raid it, which on big enemies and on bosses you can press the sword button if you have enough meter for any sword attack. You dash to it, perform a level 3 combo and get a nice high overkill chain, which is what I do. Then it counts all big enemies that you can re-cancel, put all bullets on screen into gems. And after this, I activate delayed shift. An important thing to note about both shifts is that they spawn more enemies, and the frequency of the enemies you spawn is determined by your vertical position on the screen. So I don't like this wave. Goes to the top. Destroy these fairies. Goes to the top again. These 3 fairies are spawned. The bullets are above this, but this, and this fairy are spawned by manipulating reinforcements during the shift. This fairy, this coming fairy, and this coming fairy are all spawned normally by the stage. So now we cancel, raid. Okay. Once they spawn, ethereal shift for more coins at the top of the screen to get more enemy reinforcements. And okay, the mid-boss. The main decision we need to make at the mid-boss is, are you using a bomb during the stage? Using a bomb would make scoring the stage a lot easier, but you lose a bomb, which, depending on what you're going for, could be detrimental, or could at least be a big hindrance if you need as many hits as possible. Starting off, I would recommend to use the bomb, but in this replay I won't, just so you know that it can be done without using a bomb. The big raid bomb trick is that you want to be at the bottom of the screen, of course. You activate a bomb, and then right away you hold the raid button, the blade button. During the animation, the player character, Azalet, would be held in place. As soon as the animation is over, you can pop another bomb and pop another bomb. You can pop as many bombs so long as the mid-boss or other enemies don't despawn because they time out, and depending on how far you get up. The more bombs you use, the higher your overkill chain is. So, now destroy the enemies. Whilst you have an overkill chain going, enemies killed give you this red number. This red number multiplies your overkill chain, which, if you've used a bomb, this can get to massive numbers, which is why you would want to keep your chain throughout the stage until you pop your next shift. If you didn't use a bomb, you will want to refresh your chain. Focus the enemies with the assault, which just have it on by default now. And then boom. So another important characteristic of raid, the sword attack on these big enemies you can use, is that it automatically resets your chain and gives you a higher value. It's always useful. If you don't understand this weird number, you can sort of interpret it as a raid chain. Just raid the enemies throughout the stage, and it'll at least help you get some score. So here I raid. If you've used a bomb, do not raid. I want to reset this value. Alright. This queue is sort of timing based. I do it as soon as this is done, and then pop the delayed shift at the top of the screen. As I said earlier, this manipulates enemy spawns. So these 2 fairies spawned in because I was at the top of the screen. So then slowly stream over, destroy this yellow crystal, do not raid. Okay, during this animation, destroy all enemies, go back to the top of the screen. It's the top left, because that way you can stream it easier to the next crystal. Stream. Obviously you can adapt this to make it more performable on other difficulties. You destroy this crystal. And then boom. Alright. Couldn't see this earlier, but I have white gems right now because for stage 1 the coin threshold is 8,000 coins. So that's what I tried to do at the beginning of the stage and whilst I was building the chain hold right after the mid-boss. Now you pop Ethereal Shift because why not? You get more coins, you get more multiplier, and enemies still spawn, which doesn't happen on the other stages, and you can end this phase instantly. Boom. You're now overkilling the boss. So during this overkill, alright, stop firing. You have assault off, and you're not firing because it does extra damage to bosses, which on the early bosses is annoying. Your shifts only charge up if your main shot is hitting something. Assault does not help you to charge up your shifts, it only helps because it keeps the enemies alive, which isn't helpful for the bosses, or the squishy bosses. Now you sort of damage the boss, you can much safer just to fire at the bottom, but you can also do a sword attack. If you're up to it, it's difficult, and if your difficulty allows it. Again, I've just... Another mechanic, I'm so sorry, is counter shift, which determines the strength of your cancel when you stop your delayed shift. During boss fights, it gets determined based on cancelled bullets and by time. So right then as the phase ended, I popped this so the cancelled bullets would contribute to the counter shift. Because as soon as bullets spawn, I pop it. These white gems come from me popping the counter shift, and it's nice. There's a cancellation cost for using your delayed shift, but it's alright, because if you fire normally here, you can charge this up, but it also charges this up at the bottom, and now you combo. Now as soon as this is charged up, you pop it, and then you can cancel once there are enough bullets, which was a little too late for me here, but then more bullet patterns spawn, and then boom, you just cancelled that pattern 3 times, which gives you a lot of score. The score requirement for this stage is 180 million. I've achieved this as the boss dies, so we're cutting it a little close. If you're not confident, pop a bomb earlier. So let's get to a nice background. That was stage 1. It's arcane. It's going to get some getting used to. It's going to need some practice. It's the most frightening part about this run. Starting off is just qualifying. Use a bomb. Don't get frustrated if you fail. It's difficult. I've been there. Practice makes perfect. So then, some other tidbits for the other stages. I'm not going to go through all of them. They're a lot simpler. Just use your shifts as soon as you can, and focus the enemies at the beginning to get an alright chain. It's a lot easier. There are obviously some tricks. So the highest, this boss has, the final pattern is the highest scoring part of this entire stage. You can see right now my score is around 400 million. So that's what I want to get into. So you kill the boss as normal, and then you have another decision here, or once this phase ends, is how risky are you feeling? How confident are you in the mechanics of this game? If you're not confident, I recommend you to wait until all the converted gems are gone from the screen, have been converted into points by you as this phase ends, and then pop the delayed shift. Wait for it to charge up to level 1, pop it, raid the boss, and continue. The risky thing, but I did something different here. You don't need to do it. So the risky thing is I already have the counter shift going, I already have the delayed shift on, and I'm firing at the boss. And this demonstrates the key mechanic of scoring is that enemies do not die if assault is targeting them, or if you're raiding them. Cancel the shift if it's level 1, or if you're doing this when you're raiding the boss. Gems get converted into ethereal shift, and pop it whilst you're raiding, and the pattern continues. Then survive until you defeat the boss. Just because the longer you survive, the better the value, the more points you get from the cancel bullets. I did get hit there, it was a silly hit, but whatever. Continue, I'm not resetting for a EX run, only the final. the final boss matters the most. You never know what could happen in 50 minutes. Boom. See, that gave me 150 million score. Roundabout. Those just doing that correctly. And the qualification for stage 2, if you came from stage 1, is 350 million. So understand how this, just play the stage, make sure you know how to do what I just showed you with the last pattern, and you should be fine for qualification. And then the last thing I really want to emphasize in stage 3 is stage 3. It's a really high scoring stage, especially early on, which is not this. Okay, let me find the right spot. But the Zaco give a surprising amount of score, dumb hit again. And then we have this big fairy. This big fairy does a lot to your overkill chain here, this green number. So, either you rate this normally, if you're not sure, use the rate bug or use a bomb. Bomb, hold your blade / bomb, raid this enemy. If you're unsure about qualifying for this stage and the other. So then, I popped the blade and went to the top. Spawn more enemies, things to cancel, always good, especially if you've bombed, not mandatory. You could have Etheria here as well. Since the most important part are just all the Zacos that spawn, all these red enemies that just shoot at you, so many. This can easily give 100 million score, if not more if you've used a bomb. And that's the highest scoring part of this stage. Then you have this really long multi-phase boss fight. If you can just have an overkill going throughout this boss fight, you should be fine. And so yeah, those are the first 3 stages. Very thoroughly explained area 1, most complicated area in the game to score, especially starting out. And then tricks for areas 2 and 3. Stage 4, there are no tricks. The stage doesn't score a lot. Just raid chain it and hope you've done well enough in the first 3 stages to qualify. I'm pretty sure. So if you just want to rank 4, I'm pretty sure the qualification is really low. To get to rank 4, if you want to get to rank 4 EX, you need to score 1 billion after stage 4. And that can be a bit more difficult, which would then require you to understand scoring stages 1 to 4 a lot better. So I hope you learned something. Feel free to throw a comment into the. Just throw a comment if you're confused. If I didn't explain something correctly, I'll hopefully look in the comment section. Even if it's, I don't know, 2-3 years from now, I'll probably look. I will help you. I would at least try my best to help you. And then finally, buy this game. I love this game, despite everything. It's only available on the DL site. Will this change in the future? Probably not. I'm not an optimist. If it does, there will be a comment. I'll be freaking out. I'll be very happy and would probably play this game some more if it was a lot easier to get for people overseas. So, comment, buy this game, enjoy rank 4 and rank 4EX. Ciao.